What is apartment syndication? How do you actually start investing in apartment syndication? In this video, we're going to be specifically talking about 7 steps you should expect to invest in apartment syndication as a passive investor. What is apartment syndication? It is simply a fancy word for pull investors' money together to invest in something. In this case, apartment. Step number 1, educate yourself about syndication and basic economics of how apartment works. If you don't understand something, it's probably not a good idea to invest. But don't take too long of a time. You just need to know the basics. So this way you can kind of sniff out when things doesn't make a lot of sense. Chances are they probably don't make any sense. Second, you have to make a decision to invest. This is a commitment that you make it to yourself. Thinking about current environment of inflation at 8.5%, not doing anything is really not a choice. Third, you need to decide which founder you're going to use, because depends on which founder you use, your investment strategy, the project you invest in can be very different. For example, it makes absolutely no sense for a retired person who needs constant cash flow incomes to invest in something that generates no income but a lot of growth. Conversely, it also makes no sense for you to invest into a deal that kicks out a lot of cash flow through your retirement fund, because you're never going to see that cash in the retirement fund until you're retired. That is, if you're a young person. Fourth, you need to do a thorough research into the syndicator. Guys, I'm not going to emphasize enough that investing with people is really the fundamental of this type of investment. Knowing what your operators' track records are is a big piece of puzzle. We have always invested with someone who we trust, build a long-term relationship with, so we know that person has integrity. Investment can go wrong if you invested with the wrong people. We have resources on our website to help you ask 58 questions to your syndicator, vet out if they are a great syndicator and if it's a great project. Fifth, you must vet the market. Ideally, your first couple syndication, it's a market that you're familiar with. Drive the market if you can. I know you're just passively investing, but it's kind of important to understand the fundamentals of the market and don't just take the syndicator words for it. Learning a little bit about what metrics syndicators will look to evaluate a deal, the assumption that they made to make their projections, it's also a great idea. Again, if something doesn't make sense, it likely is not a good investment. Real quick, if you like what we do, please subscribe to our channel. Sixth step is, once you made a decision to invest it quickly. Sometimes the opportunity will get funded really quickly and you don't want to miss your chance to that. Also, it's a courtesy to a syndicator that you have made your commitments and making sure that you're finishing your documents quickly. So as an investor, you should expect your syndicators asking you to fill out a subscription document package, which includes PPM, which is private placement memorandum, which is this 90 page long disclaimer of everything about this syndication. You should read this very carefully if it's your first syndication, because it talks about all sorts of scenario when that happens, how it's being handled. And second, you should expect to sign the company agreement, because you are a member of the syndication also means you're a member of the LLC that holds the property. So that company agreement also spells out how the voting rights works and etc. Very detailed information. It's a good idea to read through them the first time. And third is you also expected to fill out an investor questionnaire, which is a question about your personal status in order for the syndicator to evaluate and decide if they're going to approve your subscriptions. If it's a legal syndication, once it's closed, you can find the file, the Blue Sky filings, in the SEC Security Legal website about a month or so after the deal is closed, so that you can protect yourself, making sure things are legal. Then you will sit back and watch your money grow. And during this period, you should be expecting distributions based on what is spelled out in the PPM or the offering memorandum. And you should be expecting frequent communications from your syndicator. Not too frequent, it's what's agreed in the company agreement or the PPM. Oftentimes, it's a monthly update communication or quarterly communication. Same with your distribution. There may be a period you don't get paid, especially it's a value-added project. Likely, you're not going to get paid first 6 months until the value-add projects start finishing and the cash flow has increased on these projects. So don't get super antsy if first couple months or a year you're not getting distribution, as long as that's as expected. And also, every year, your syndicator should be responsible for filing income returns. And you should receive a K1, which is a partnership return from the LLC filings. And also, if you invest in through retirement accounts, there may be a few more documents your syndicator will be providing to you on an annual basis. Lastly, when a deal goes full cycle, that means either the deal is sold or the deal has been refinanced, cash out refinanced, in which case you receive a big distribution. You should expect a period of time to pass before the disbursement of fund. First, you might be receiving a large payout, about 80-90% of the total amount back to you. And then there's a last amount of money that's being reserved for next year tax filing and other bill settlings, etc. Typically takes about 2 to 3 months. And then that last check may come in as late as next year, but it's a really small amount. To help you guys out, we have put together 58 questions to ask your syndicator when you invest into apartment syndication. Click the link down below to download this.